Hey, welcome to Bible 365. I'm your host, Kathy Carter, and I'm bringing you First Corinthians 13. Today, we are just talking about love, what it is, what it looks like, how to abide in it in your life. All easier said than done. So, if you're interested, I want you to stick with me, and I will see you in a minute. Hey, welcome to Bible 365. I'm your host, Kathy Carter, and this channel is here to kind of merge Bible living with Bible literacy. So, we are going to be using the New Testament this year in order to understand what it's like to live as a follower of Christ. I have a link below in the description that I have a download that will bring you to a chronological Bible reading of the New Testament. So, what I want you to do is read every day and join me and hopefully some friends as we talk about what it means to live as a kingdom builder. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to Bible 365. Today I'm in First Corinthians 13. So if you've been with me up to this point, I don't want to do too much background, but if you've been with me up to this point, this is a letter written by Paul, who was an apostle. He was writing to the church in Corinth that he built the foundation of, and they had some back and forth letters, and he was answering some questions of theirs as much as he was also hearing some stuff that was going on and filling in information for them. And in some ways, he was maturing them as believers. And this was something I talked about with we were like sort of talking about this with my small group because um, how do we know the things that we're supposed to do, right? And so we need, oh, if you're in a state of immaturity, what does that look like? Like, how do you grow in that way? And and we don't do this in a vacuum, and this is a huge part of what Paul is doing for them, because they can't do it on their own. They don't have the information in order to do this. And some of them probably have the spiritual gifts. Some of that, well, obviously we definitely see that some of them have the spiritual gifts, but Paul was the one who sort of founded this church, and so he was the ultimate first source that they were going to when they had any questions. And so he wanted to fill them in on the things that the Holy Spirit was revealing to him. So when we kind of were together last time, we were talking about some of the gifts that have been given, and I think that this is not a full list. I think this is a partial list. He was kind of like, there's this and there's this and there's this and there's this. And what I think is it's a miraculous gift that's given by the Holy Spirit that you don't have before you are converted. And this gift is to be used. And this is how we know that you have a gift, right? This is how we know. This is a lot of times how they would have recognized that people were saved, or people became Christians, or people understood the gospel. It's because they showed evidence of a spiritual gift. And in the book of Acts, we see that a lot of them showed the gift of tongues. And so they would go, oh, these people, and especially it was like with the first fruits kind of groups, like when they went out of during Pentecost, they went out and they had the gifts of tongues, and they were speaking to other people who then showed the gift of tongues. And then when they went to the Gentiles for the first time, they said the evidence is that they have the gift of tongues. And so these were some of the ways that we saw it's not the only way, and that's not the only gift, and that's not the gift that everyone is getting. But there's a certain time and a certain place that this is really necessary. And so there seems to be something outwardly visual that says, oh, I recognize that this person is a believer. And I'm going to kind of be bold and say, I definitely feel like this is lacking in a lot of the church spheres that I've been in. And there, how do you know? Well, people will go, well, if I call on the name of the Lord, and that's the way I am. But that doesn't seem to be the evidence that you are a person that has been saved by the Lord and has the Holy Spirit dwelling inside of you. Now, we did see, and we will continue to see, people who show evidence, but then they are not actually believers. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. But we also see a lot of people who say that they're believers, and there's not the evidence that they are believers. So we kind of have to figure out, or maybe figure out is the wrong way, but you have to, in some ways, look in the mirror and find out, where are you in this, right? Like, what is it? What does your walk with the Lord look like? Are you changing? Has your life changed, or have you been converted by the Lord, right? Are you a new creation, or are you the same thing, right? Have you been born again as a new creation that follows Christ, or are you that same thing, but maybe you're just a little bit nicer, or you're like, I was a Christian my whole life, so I have no changes. We need to really look in the mirror for those things. So he was talking about gifts, and he was talking about all the things that they do, and he said, not everyone has everything, right? And then he says, but in the end of the last chapter, he said, are we all teachers? Are we all workers? Do we all interpret? But earnestly desire the best gifts. And he showed what the first, second, third, fourth gifts are. So desire these gifts. Now, when you become a believer, you might get a gift. And then as you mature, it seems you're to desire these best gifts: apostles, teachers, prophets. These are the gifts that we're supposed to desire. And this is the last statement I kind of think like goes with the next chapter a little bit better. And he said, and yet I show you a more excellent way. So you're going to desire these gifts, but let me show you a more excellent way. And I think the more excellent way is to obtain these gifts. So he said, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels. I think Paul's speaking about himself. Paul very clearly spoke in tongues. And so he says, though I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, so tongues that men can understand, tongues that angels can understand, though I speak in this way, but I don't have love, I'm like big, loud noises. So if I don't have love to go along with these things, and this is sort of like some of the things that I just spoke of, like, what is the evidence, right? Like, are you doing all these things, but you don't love, right? Or can you not get to these places because you don't love? And then he says, and though I have the gift of prophecy, I understand all mysteries and all knowledge. I have the greatest understanding of everything, but I don't love, right? So that I can move mountains, but I don't love, I'm nothing. And though I give all of my stuff away, but I don't love, none of it matters. So I can show every gift, I can do miraculous things, I can give away every single thing that I have, but none of that matters if I don't love. We need to be honest with ourselves here, because love is a very deep thing. It is a sacrificing of ourselves. Some of these things can be for show, and a lot of that stuff that's for show can really be about us. I we want to share some of the things that we have done, right? Like, so if you're an excellent giver, and some people have the gift of giving, sometimes it's encouraging to share that with other people. But if you're always sharing it in every one of your places, you might want to say, am I giving for myself, or am I giving for others, or am I giving to sort of pat myself on the back, right? If you have miraculous gifts, and all it is about, look at all the gifts that Kathy has, look at her speaking in tongues, look at, and you're not loving, none of that matters. So it's always about checking our hearts. Every single thing should be self-sacrificing. He says this, like, this has been the thread throughout this entire letter, is about the giving up of yourself. I mean, Jesus said it numerous times, right? Like, so many you probably can't count, but Jesus said it over and over again. Because he sacrificed himself. It's all about sacrificing who you are. And sometimes it's about, like, you need to love, and not just in words alone. We can all love in words. We can all say how nice we are. We can all do really nice things. I have a student, and he has anger issues, a lot of anger issues. But he always opens the door for people. Like, literally always, whether he's mad at you or not. He always opens the door for people. Not only does he open the door for people, but he loves to tell people how he opens the door for people. And people will go, oh, social skills will come in and say, what's a way we can be nice today? And he'll be like, open the door for people, because somehow he knows that that is a good deed. And so no matter what else he does, he's like, but I did this good deed, right? And so but the good deed doesn't matter if all the other stuff is angry all the time. Like, it's the good deed. I don't want to say it's worthless, because it's never worthless, but the good deed is just a good deed. Like, it's like, we all have a little bit of good deeds inside of us, right? Like, all the mean people in the world are nice to somebody. Somebody is their best friend. Somebody hangs out with them all the time. And so we all have a little bit of good deeds in us, but that is not self-sacrifice. That is not love. That might be just something that you enjoy doing. Like, oh, I wave at all my neighbors when I'm walking by. Can you believe that none of these people talk to any of their neighbors? I wave at all my neighbors. That's not self-sacrificing for you. You just like talking to your neighbors. So again, this is all about looking at ourselves. So he says, love, this is the definition of what it is. So if I don't have if I don't have all of these things, not any of these things, if I don't have all of these things, then speaking in tongues, prophesying, doing miracles, exorcising demons, opening doors, giving all my money to the poor, this stuff is not profitable. Love is profitable eternally. It might not even be profitable here. It's eternally profitable. So he says, love suffers long. So love doesn't go, I'm going to deal with you today. Love says, I'm going to be kind to you. I'm going to be gentle to you. I'm going to be patient with you. Long suffering, days, weeks, months, years. I'm getting rid of that person. I guess maybe a good example would be like, for me, right? Like, I'm not talking to my mother-in-law anymore. She got on my nerves, and I'm cutting her out of my life because she doesn't do the things that I want her to do. I still love her, but I'm gonna cut her out of my life. That's not loving. That's not long suffering. We need to, and a lot of times the reasons that we don't get along with mothers-in-laws and daughters-in-laws is because we both love the same person, and we just love that person differently, and so we think that that person deserves a different kind of love than they're getting. So we're not long suffering or loving for any of these people. It says it does not envy, so it is not jealous of other people, and I definitely suffer from this. I love to go away. And I want to be like Joe, like, oh, I enjoy the places. Let's be realistic. I love to go away. That is what it is. I love to go away. I love to vacation. And when someone else vacations, and especially if it's a place like I really want to go, or it's a place that I never will get to, sometimes overseas, I'm like, I'm never going to get there. I envy. I'm jealous of that. I want that for myself. And then I start like scheming, like, how can I get that for myself? How can I have one of those things? So it's an envious, and that's just like a piece. There's so many other ways to be envious of other people. You can be envious of their jobs. You can be a one-upper that somebody tells a story like, oh, I made this dinner. Oh, well, let me tell you about the dinner that I made. There are so many ways that we can be envious, and we might not even realize that we're being envious, but we're behaving in a way that's envious. Love doesn't envy. When somebody makes an amazing dinner, love says, oh my gosh, tell me all about it. That sounds incredible. And genuinely, not like just saying it in words, right? It's really, again, I would say it's easy to say in words and then to walk away and be like, oh, well, I make dinner so much better than her. It, genuinely be joyful when that person is joyful. Listen and be like, wow, I'm so excited that you got to make that great dinner. Some people are very much better at certain things than I am. And I have a hard time with that. I want to be good at everything, except the things I don't want to be good at, which is sports. Like, I don't care if I'm good at sports. But like, I've sort of like shut off the door to being any good at sports and gone like, I'm not even going to try anymore. But there are so many other things that I want to be good at, and when I find out someone else is better than me, then I'm fighting for that. If someone's kids get better grades than mine, I'm fighting for that. And instead of just enjoying that their kids got good grades, I know how exciting that feels. And so I should be excited for them instead of envying them. That's not loving. Envying them isn't loving. It does not behave rudely. That's obvious. It's not puffed up. So it's not like arrogant, right? You're not condemning of other people and arrogant in your own self, thinking you're so amazing. It is not provoked. So love, when somebody picks at you, love doesn't get provoked. They just let it slide. They let it go. And obviously, we're not going to be perfect at all these things, but these are things that we should be. This is the better way, right? This is the better way. This love is the thing to be striving for. It thinks no evil. It does not rejoice in iniquity. It rejoices in the truth, and it bears all things. When you love, you are bearing all things. Other people are leaning on you, and you are bearing those things. I hear so much now, like, I don't have that to give. Well, you do, because the Lord is a never-ending cup. And so you might not think you have that to give, but the Lord gives abundantly to those who ask for it, right? So are you seeking those things so you are able to bear the things that others lay on you? It says, believes all things, hopes all things, and endures all things. And again, I'm going to say we keep taking this from the Holy Spirit. Love never fails. Other things fail. So we're going to find out what does. Whether there are prophecies, they will fail. Whether there are tongues, they will cease. Whether there is knowledge, it will vanish away, because we know in part and we prophesy in part. So love, the thing that I'm talking about, what we're getting from, right? The thing that we're striving for is Christ. We get these things through the Holy Spirit. Love is the ultimate of these things. Christ is the ultimate of love. These other things fail. Right now, we prophesy because the end has not come, right? We're still here on earth. The end has not come. We are given words of prophecy. We are given words of wisdom. There are people that speak in tongues in order to show the Lord to other people. So these things are all happening now, but it says love never fails. These things fail. Love never does. Some of these things, and as a matter of fact, at the time, some is going on top of some of these things fail. We're going to get some of these things wrong, right? We think we're getting it the right word, but we might not necessarily. So we're going to be getting some of these things wrong. He said, that which is perfect, Jesus, has come, then that which is in part will be done away. So when Jesus comes back, all of these things are not going to matter. You're not going to need to prophesy because Jesus is here with you. So you're not going to need to, we're going to be like with Jesus. Like it's, I don't want to say back in the Garden of Eden, because I don't ever think we're going backwards. I think we're going forwards. But in this new forwards and creation, we are going to be not just this like partially tied to Jesus, where there's sin left in our lives that Jesus is perfecting, fully, completely enmeshed with Jesus in a way where we don't need to prophesy anymore, because we have everything with Jesus. We'll know, we'll understand. We don't need to speak in tongues anymore because we're going to have Jesus with us. We don't need to be learning wisdom because he's going to be filling us with wisdom all the time. So all of that stuff will be gone when he comes. He says, and which is in part, and then will be done away. And then he says in verse 11, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. So I think he is, to go back to the prior paragraphs, he's equating this with the fullness that is to come, right? So like right now we're sort of like children. We're in the process of learning and growing in all of these things. He said, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. So I'm growing up and I'm putting away all of those childish things. For now, we see in a mirror just dimly. We can barely see what is in front of us. We like when we look in a mirror, I don't, it's a reflection of us, right? But we just see dimly in it. Like we don't see the perfection of what is. He says, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then I shall know just as I am also known. And now abide. So now because the perfect hasn't come, like we've seen Jesus. We in this, we didn't literally see Jesus, but we in this life are learning from the scriptures. We're understanding who Jesus is. We've been given this revelation, right? Some of them did see Jesus, but now like we've been given all this revelation. And because we've been given this revelation, we need to abide in faith that we know, even though we haven't seen, felt, and touched it, we know that it's true. In hope that what is to come, that Jesus is coming back, and in love. So we need to abide, which means follow and do the things of these things. So follow and listen in these things. Like I have faith that Jesus is, therefore I will behave the way that he wants me to behave. I will respond in the way he wants me to behave. I have hope that he is coming back like he said he is. So I'm going to act as if he's coming back. I know he is love, and because of that, I'm going to act in a loving way to the people that he loves, which is the people that he created, which is humans. He said, so again, I'm going to read this again. And now abide in faith, hope, and love, these three. But the greatest of these is love. Because faith and hope are also going to be gone, by the way. So the greatest of them is love. Love is like complete. Faith and hope, you won't need faith then. We won't need hope because we're going to see it. We're going to live it. Love is the greatest. These are the things that you want to live in your daily life. If you live in love, there's going to be rebukes and reprimands, and there will be frustration when you see things like when we look at the Psalms and we saw that David was like frustrated with his enemies or angry with his enemies. There will be enemies of God that we'll have frustration in. But overall, and that's loving too, by the way, but overall, we need to lift people up in loving. I'm not saying positive, encouraging, K love it. Don't hear me just saying, like, oh, we need to be nice all the time. Love should be genuine, coming from the heart, and you should want what is best for any of the people that you are in contact with. That's more loving. You sacrifice yourself for that other person, whether they are kind to you or not. You're sacrificing for this other person. That's where we're ending. So I hope this was a blessing to you. And if it was, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Comment if you want to comment. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And I will see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading.